Okay, so let's continue with our Algebra Fundamentals series. In particular, let's work on solving linear equations. So to start with, let's do a warm-up problem. This type of example was covered in the previous video. So remember, we first deal with the addition terms. So to get rid of this plus 5, we're going to do the opposite, which is minus 5. So we'll have 3x plus 5 minus 5, and whatever we do to the left hand side we have to do to the right hand side, so we get 17 minus 5. These 5's cancel, so I have 3x is equal to 17 minus 5, which is 12, and then we do the opposite of multiplication by 3, which is division by 3. These 3's cancel and I get x equals 4. If you want more practice on this, you should go back to the previous video and also try the tutorial problems that are in the video description. Okay, so let's try some new examples. So here we have solve 3x plus 5x. Now, these terms both have x in them. This term does not have x, for example. And these terms, when they both have x terms or both do not have x terms, these are called like terms. So we can add like terms. We can't add 3x to 16, but we can add 3x to 5x. The way to think about this is you can think of x as a placeholder for oranges, and if there's no x, then that could be the number of apples. You can't do 3 oranges plus 16 apples to get 19 of something, but you can do 3 oranges plus 5 oranges and get 8 oranges. That's the idea of like terms. So let's add 3x plus 5x, and because they're like terms, we'll get 8x, and then this 16 just comes down. And now we have our usual type of equation, which is 8x equals 16. And so we just do the opposite of multiplication by 8, which is division by 8. So I'll have 8x divided by 8 is 16 over 8. And these 8's cancel, so what I end up with is x equals 2. Okay, let's try another example. Here we have solve 4x plus x plus 5 equals 15. So let's circle the like terms just to begin with. So 4x plus x, those two are like terms. And this 5, let's do it in a different color. This 5 is a like term relative to this 15. Okay, so how do we proceed? Well, we can add the like terms. So 4x plus x, that's 5x. So now this equation becomes 5x plus 5 equals 15. And we can now solve this equation as per usual. So we do the opposite of plus 5, which is minus 5, and I get 5x is equal to 15 minus 5. I've skipped this step of doing the minus 5 here because it cancels. That's how this works fundamentally. So what we have is 5x equals 15 minus 5, so 5x equals 10. Now we do the opposite of multiplication by 5, which is division by 5, and that gives us 10 divided by 5, which is 2. Okay, one last example. Solve 6x plus 2x plus 3 equals 10 plus 6. So again, let's underline or circle the like terms. So I've got a 6x here, so I'm looking for x terms. I've got a 2x, so that's a like term. The 3 doesn't have an x, so that's not a like term here. The 10 doesn't have an x either, so that's not a like term. But the x here does have an x, so that's a like term. We also have that the 3 and 10 are like terms. Okay, so proceeding just as we did in this example, let's add these like terms. So 6x plus 2x gives me 8x. then I'll have a plus 3, which I can't change for the moment, and I'll leave the right hand side alone. Now I want to get all the x's on the left hand side. Remember, the goal of algebra is to isolate the x term. So I want to bring this over here. And so the opposite of plus x is going to be minus x. So if I want to bring it over there, I have to put a minus x over. This x minus x will cancel, and this 8x minus x will give me 7x plus 3 is equal to 10. Now we're back in the usual situation, so I've got a plus 3. I want to do the opposite to get rid of it, so I'm going to subtract 3. I'll get 10 minus 3 there. And so now I have 7x is equal to 7. Now I've got a multiplication by 7, so the opposite is division by 7. Cancel those, and what I end up with is x equals 1. Okay, so because practice is so important, I'm going to say it again. Be sure to check the video description for the tutorial notes, and also the video description for the cheat notes, which has all the answers and fully worked solutions to the practice problems that accompany this video.